Hello, my name is Liga Reimer, and today we will talk about artificial sweeteners because we discussed influence of sugar to our body and health in different short workshops. But today I want to discuss with you these artificial sweeteners because what I find quite a lot of people when we hear, oh yeah, sugar is complicated and cravings integrate into some illnesses, not only diabetes, but quite a lot of anti-aging processes, illnesses, inflammation, and so on. We tend to choose something, but quite often people run to these artificial sweeteners. Instead of sugar, these little tablets in a tea. Instead of Coke, we go to zero Coke. And we think we kind of, we keep in diet, we keep in sugar low, but we actually, if we would understand what's going on underground there and what it is produced from, we actually would understand that sometimes it can actually impact our health even worse than that white sugar powder or white sugar. So artificial sweeteners today in that short webinar. Because when we talk to the people and we think about health plans and give up the sugar, we start looking for alternatives, and people do look for alternatives. So the easiest way for people to look for alternatives is to go and find these artificial sweeteners in a shop, in a supermarket. And we can continue our habits like eating treats, cookies, sweet products, but without added sugar. And quite often, these products, no added sugar, if you actually would go a bit further, but quite often it's a very small letters, and you would look at ingredients, they actually more dangerous as just sugar products. This is what I experienced in my life. When you start looking, no added sugar, you need to look at the ingredient list, what's under here. So these products in the stores often labeled as sugar-free, no added sugar, but look in ingredients. Because even then it's important to see, understand whether it causes the troubles for my health, what could be the side effects, and continue read the ingredients as I already mentioned. So if product is sweet but has no added sugar, that it obviously contains some kind of sweetener, right? It can't be sugar sweet. It can't be sweet without sugar. We are sweet ourselves, but we do need to understand where that sweetness comes from. Where is the source of it? And it's wonderful if it's a natural product, like, for example, date syrup, agave syrup, very, very good one. I use for my vegan cakes, for example, avocado and lime, honey and good quality honey and pieces of dried fruit. But quite often they are not natural sugar sources, but they quite often are artificial sweeteners, and people using product in a supermarket just no added sugar, sugar-free, or these vegan milks quite often no sugar, and you look in ingredient, there are still plenty of sugar in there or other sweeteners, and there are 19 artificial sweeteners produced synthetically in the chemical labs. We do need to understand we are the part of the nature. We are created from natural sources. We designed that way. All our body and cells absorb everything what's natural, and synthetical, it's always gonna end up somewhere because our body cannot absorb it. We cannot synthesize synthetically in chemical lab produce things, items. So it's somewhere will end up in our blood vessels or in our kidneys, liver, and so on. Most of them are E numbers. When you look at the product in ingredients and you see E950, E969, E999, and so on, that these are artificial. They are not natural. There are many conflicting opinions about artificial sweeteners. And we will look in this short webinar about also some scientific research. But in my point of view, we need to be cautious with these substances, and we can't get carried away. I've seen it every day, zero Coke for me, but you understand that you got pre-diabetes condition, you got high sugar intake, you got fatty liver, or you got high problems with overweight, and you still continue this zero sugar or zero Coke. It's actually worse than normal Coke, I would say, in my opinion, and I'll explain you why. So giving up sugar and switching, for example, to sweetener tablets and powders and keep sweetening our tea and coffee and thinking, oh, that's my healthiest solution. It's actually not in a route. It's better sweeten your coffee with honey, agave syrup, and gradually switch to unsweetened option together, because we get used to these tastes. We get used to. One of the most common ones is aspartame or cyclamate, was discovered in 1934, and in 1970 it was banned in USA due to concerns it could cause bladder cancer. So why I am talking about these causes, because, like I said, our cell absorbs only natural substances, and they should be maximally from natural plant-based or animal-based sources. Plant-based the best. If we have these artificial kind of sweeteners synthetically created in chem labs, they cannot benefit to our health. They are not natural. Aspartame is also a very controversial sweetener discovered in 1965, and experiments on animals showed its cancerogenic properties. So in the long term, imagine you using these synthetical, it's also, I would actually stop here and also mention synthetical vitamins. When you buy vitamins, especially in a pharmacy, be cautious, be aware that your vitamins, your nutrients should be plant-based, should be highest GMP quality, should be bioavailable maximal. So all these synthetical products your body cannot absorb. It's always going to end somewhere. However, in 91, aspartame was approved for use. So at some point it was proven cancerogenic on animals, but it was proved, oh, okay, we can use it. And we don't know the manufacturer's reasoning for dismissing these concerns. So it's food manufacturers, so can continue using as a sweeteners, but be cautious, because there were concerns about cancerogenic effects on animals, okay? And it's reasonable to think that it could affect also humans. So also another one, potassium acesulfate, cyclamate, saccharin consumptions has decreased in recent years due to studies questioning its safety. Okay, cyclamate was banned in UK and France, but in around 40 countries it's still allowed. So in some countries it's banned, in some it's still allowed. White countries is allowed, okay? Potassium acesulfate is banned in some countries, but still permitted in many others. So also it's interesting that nutritional experts often say that aspartame is considered to be the safest synthetic sweetener, but even here and there are lots of opposing opinions, okay? And we should be cautious. If you actually build your healthy lifestyle and you want your body healthy for a life, you better change it for something plant-based, natural, instead of synthetical. And also it's interesting that artificial sweeteners, despite not raising glucose levels, here's interesting. Normally, this white sugar powder, it raises glucose level on all these sugar treats and everything, but no added sugar doesn't raise the glucose level. So you think, oh, it should be fine, yeah? And not having calories, like zero Coke. I have no calories, I'm drinking, enjoying my Coke and so on. Still undesirable for our bodies. Why? Because in the Book of Obesity Code, which aims to understand because of diabetes and obesity, many studies on artificial sweeteners are compiled. That actually researches many researchers, research confirms that using artificial sweetener does not help with weight loss. And I've seen lots of people, you know, drinking with a big overweight, but drinking zero Coke. It does not integrate into your health. It doesn't help you to lose weight, and does not prevent, and also does not prevent from weight gain. You're thinking you're using this no added sugar and you don't read the ingredient list, it can still help you with the weight gain, not with the weight loss. And you wonder, I'm kind of okay, but what's going on? On the contrary, some studies indicate that sweeteners can increase the risk of gaining excess weight. There are also some studies like that, and develop diabetes by 47%. Like I said, when you intake these synthetically made artificial sweeteners, yeah, where do they end up in our body? It's not obviously integrating into our health, body health. So do artificial sweeteners raise insulin levels? It has been found that although they contain no calories and do not raise blood glucose level, they can still, it's really tricky here, they still increase insulin levels. And it's also true for some natural sweeteners like stevia. That's why stevia should be actually maximally plant-based, maximally clean. But both raise insulin levels more than table sugar, actually, aspartame and stevia. Another interesting aspect was scientists reviewed 17 studies of sweetened drinks, and they linked them all to excess weight. Okay, sweetened drinks without sugar. I'm talking about these. 83% of studies sponsored the sweetener manufacturers and found no connection to weight gain. Now, listen this out. People who produce food with artificial sweeteners, 83%, huge chunk, they sponsored the studies. Do you think they want you to find a connection with weight gain? No. Do you think they want their product to be taken off the shelves? No. It's in the world we live in. Here, I'll leave the pause, and I pause for you to listen it out and think. Independent studies, however, showed opposite. In 83% of cases, there was a strong link between sweetened drinks and weight gain. So it all depends on who sponsors the studies and research. Okay, the same, not going to mention. So when we're discussing scientific studies, we'll always remember, like I said already, who sponsors the research. And you always need to have this critical thinking. So that's all from me. And what I would like to point out as well here, potential side effects of artificial sweeteners. When you pick up that zero sugar or zero cola, zero Fanta, whatever they are, yeah, no sugars added, just artificial sweeteners, you need to understand that there are high probability of these side effects. Number one is digestive issues. So many sweeteners like sorbitol, mannitol, sucralose can cause bloating, gas, diarrhea, and discomfort in your gut. They also can alter the gut microbiome, reducing beneficial bacteria, all this synthetic thing you put in. Increase sugar cravings and appetite. They do not reduce your appetite. They do not reduce your weight. They increase your sugar cravings because as you drink it, body signals, oh, there's the sugar going in. Sweet taste without calories can confuse the brain and body, leading to more cravings and overeating. That's a confusing link it creates. Possible insulin response. Some sweeteners, aspartame, sucralose, can trigger an insulin release in some people despite not raising blood sugar directly. So you cannot see blood sugar raising, but actually can trigger insulin. Fourth is metabolic effect. Studies link frequently use a higher risk of metabolic syndrome, weight gain, and type 2 diabetes due to changes in appetite, regulation, and gut health due to artificial sweeteners. Neurological concerns. Aspartame may cause headaches, dizziness, mood changes, and sensitivity in individuals. Okay. Some studies also raised concern about long-term nervous system effects. As I said, they are artificial, they are not natural, and our body got, it's lots of things going on when you do that regularly. Potential cancer risk, it's controversial in many studies, but like animals had that potential cancer risk and they were still approved for usage. All the studies linked certain sweeteners, saccharin and cyclamate, to cancer in animals, though evidence in humans was kind of mixed and still remained. Some of them have still remained banned in certain countries and as many countries around. Okay, so when we talked about artificial sweeteners, you do understand that you need to be super cautious. These are side effects. These are possible things that can going on happen. So what do we do here? Swap artificial sweeteners for natural goodness, plant-based. And you're going to avoid these risk artificial sweeteners bring on as well. So for example, choose natural sweeteners in moderation, I'm talking about, okay? So start using them and reduce amounts. If you had I knew people who had 3-4 spoons of sugar in their tea. That's obviously massively going to impact your sugar levels and lead you to diabetes. So use natural stuff and start reducing gradually, and your body going to get used to it. Raw honey, rich in enzymes and antioxidants, coconut sugar, low glycemic index with white sugar, stevia but pure leaf extract, okay, it varies, plant-based, no calories, pure maple syrup, contains minerals, zinc and magnesium, dates and date syrup, natural fiber and sweeteners, retrain your taste buddies, gradually reduce, as I already said, learn to enjoy natural flavors, because we got so many herbs, so many spices, so many additives. For example, guys, little one, I really changed my life when I used to drink and beginning of my ill child and my health really decreasing. And I had 7 cups of coffee a day with sometimes with sugar and with milk and all this, 7. And you know, when you go Costa Coffees, they all these creams and additives and syrups, and they just, wow. But then I learned to drink normal structured bioavailable water, and nowadays I just enjoy 1 little cup of coffee a day, and I have no sweeteners. I have little bit hazelnut milk or little bit unsweetened milk. And also, you know what's my sweetener, the best one? Cinnamon. It's great, guys. That's what I say. Train your taste buddies. Enjoy natural flavors, plant-based flavors. Support balanced blood sugars. Eat protein, healthy fats. I already discussed that in other workshops. With each meal, and avoid spikes and crashes. Consider omega-3, TG, plankton, or lecithin. Also, when you have your meal, avoid sugar crashes. For example, you have rice, protein, and broccoli. Start with broccoli. That's always going to have this stable sugar line. If you start with rice, you're going to have the spike. Okay, that's from Glucose Goddess book. If you're interested in that more, read that book. Boost your gut health. Healthy microbiome helps regulate your appetite. Use probiotics plenty and fiber-rich food. Also, stay hydrated, like I mentioned before, because sometimes thirst is mistaken for sugar craving or some snack. Okay, and manage your stress. Stress raises stress hormone cortisol, which can trigger your cravings for quick energy. Okay, and you use it as a relaxation technique. So for relaxation techniques, you use Pilates, yoga, walking, breathing, swimming, whatever it is, something enjoyable for you. And these things, if you start integrating in your life, then actually it's much, much better. It creates a long-term impact on your health. So thanks for listening, and bye.